Namaskar. Our today's topic is spiritual quotient. What is a spiritual quotient? Quotient is an expression usually used in mathematics. We are now using the same expression in the context of spirituality. Spiritual quotient. Literally speaking, the expression quotient is used to show the quantity or the magnitude of a quality or of a characteristic which is not essentially measurable. For example, how would we quantify our capacity to love? How would we quantify our willpower? How would we quantify our own problem solving capacities? Modern psychologists have devised certain tests to find out the intelligence quotient of a person by determining how far away from or near to the average score that a person stands by grading the answers to the questions given to that person. Today, there are all sorts of quotients: physical quotient, emotional quotient, volitional quotient, and spiritual quotient too. Look, basically it is very simple. It basically tells how much spiritually we are aware. It tries to tell us how much awakened we are to the deeper non-physical aspects of our existence in our everyday life. We are all generally aware of the physical aspects of our experience, of existence of our body, the color of our hair, about the car we drive and about the car our neighbors drive, the food we eat, how much money we have or we do not have in the bank, so on and so forth. But how much spiritually aware we are? How much are we aware of the non-physical aspects of our existence? How much do we know about life energies? How much do we know about consciousness and its role in our existence? What are we really? Are we this body? Are we this mind? Where did we come from? Where are we heading for? Where do we go when we die? What are we expected to do in this life? Do we lead a conscious life or do we live in an unconscious way? Like an automaton controlled by our thoughts and emotions? How aware are we of these fundamental aspects of our life and our existence on planet Earth? To me, the expression spiritual quotient is only a triggering point to wake us up to the conscious living, which involves finding satisfactory answers to all these existential questions and aligning our everyday life with that understanding. To me, the expression spiritual quotient is an open invitation to know the fundamental aspects of human existence. It is an invitation to know who really we are. It is also an invitation to shift our center from our mind to our heart. It's all about shift in our inner life. I am sure you are all familiar with the term heartfulness. Essentially, heartfulness is all about shifting our inner residence from our mind to our heart. We remain as a watchful, non-judging witness in our life from the heart center. The expression spiritual quotient is an open invitation to make the quantum shift from our mind-centeredness to our heart-centeredness. The heart we refer to here is not the physical heart, it is the spiritual heart. In the yogic physiology, we have two types of minds. At one end of the spectrum called mind, we have a higher mind where knowing happens intuitively and where knowledge is always accompanied by discriminative intelligence. In the yogic system, this higher mind is called manas. In the higher mind, knowing happens as an intuitive feeling, as a beautiful unfoldment of awareness, an unfoldment of automatic knowing, not as a stream of thoughts occurring in our minds. In our spiritual heart, or in other words, in our higher mind, we always know what is right and what is not right. Is it not? It is not the result of any logical inner dialogue. It is a sort of instant knowing. We often faintly experience our higher mind by way of what we call prick of conscience. We always intuitively know what is ethically right and what is not ethically right, isn't it? But unfortunately, we do not pay enough attention to it. By ignoring such inner knowing, we are actually weakening our heartfulness. We are dropping our spiritual quotient. We see that we are always centered around our dominating lower mind, which is on the other end of the spectrum. This lower mind is called chitta in yogic system. It is the lower mind which is a storehouse of all our memories. It is the sum total of all our drama in our personal life, our emotions, our love and hatred, our likes and dislikes, our fears and anxieties, everything are stored there. Almost always, 24/7, we live in our minds. It plays out as our emotions during our daytime. In our sleep, they mostly play out as our dreams. Spirituality is essentially all about the major shift from the mind to the heart. In the other words, from our lower mind to the higher mind. I call this conscious living. At this point, we need to come to terms with the word consciousness. I wish to give you some ancient Indian knowledge to start rolling it in your mind, start contemplating on it in your own mind. There are 6 great Indian philosophies, namely Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Samkhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, and Advaita. The ultimate understanding evolved through all of them is that we are consciousness. We are not this body. We are not this mind. According to Indian philosophies, consciousness is the key word when we talk of spirituality. Consciousness is the be all and end all of spirituality. Consciousness is the be all, end all of heartfulness. How much we are aware of consciousness that we are? Our mind is an expression of the consciousness that we are. Our body is an expression of the consciousness that we are. You and I exist in consciousness. You and I collapse back into the same consciousness. The final understanding of ancient sages of India is Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam is the Sanskrit word for consciousness. It says everything is Brahman, meaning everything is consciousness. Consciousness is all that there is. Everything that exists in front of us with a name or form exists in consciousness, comes out of consciousness and dissolves back into consciousness. Everything that exists without a name or form is also existing in consciousness, and it is existing out of consciousness. All that there is consciousness. But how aware we are about this? How much are we aware of this? With all these fundamental facts of life? And that is the big question. Spiritual quotient indicates a measure of that awareness in each one of us. To start developing a spiritual orientation in life, let me give you 2 simple examples to begin with. Imagine you are trapped in an unmanned island with no other humans around in that island. Absolutely no one. You live on the fruits and water that is available there. Imagine one day morning you see a long line drawn on the sand beach. you would probably think that some crab or something like that must have walked past that place, leaving an impression along the sandbed. But the next day, to your surprise, you find that the single line has changed to the shape of a house with a tree standing by it. Immediately you will know that there is someone else on the island other than yourself. Some other intelligence is present in that island, isn't it? Now, think of some seemingly mundane things in our everyday life. We will leave most of them as unnoticed in our life because we usually live in an unconscious manner. Look at the beauty and symmetry of all flowers. Look at the proportion of various body parts in all living organisms, be it plants or animals or even microbes. Look at the way a cabbage is designed. Look at the way how efficiently certain worms are camouflaging itself amongst the environment. Look at the way all these are designed by an unknown designer. When we saw that random line on the seashore in the earlier example, we immediately recognized the existence of an intelligence behind its creation. How come we fail to do the same thing in the second example? Look at the immense beauty of nature. Look at the precise way days and nights, rain and shine, waning and waxing of moon come and go. Look at the way Mother Earth gives us tasty food from the dirty soil. Look at the way the food that we eat transforms itself as our tissues and cells. Is it not magic? What do you think? All this happened without a designer behind it? Who designed all this so efficiently and so skillfully? There must surely be an immense intelligence behind it. Now, please think of this. What is the universe made of? Science has no answer to that. The answer atom is a false answer because there are at least 2 dozen subatomic particles that are recognized today. In any case, the answer atom is applicable only to the objects that we can see, touch or know. In the whole universe, only about 4% of the universe is made up of atom-based matter. All that science knows is that 4% of the universe and the remaining 96% is an eternal void, something unknown that is filled with what science calls mysterious dark matter and dark energy. It is a dark energy that holds the galaxies together like a glue. Science knows nothing beyond this. Now, come to the 4% of the universe that science claims to know. About 99.9% of this 4% of the universe known to science is interstellar dust. So we cannot see or we cannot touch anything in this dust. The universe we call what we see is only 0.1%. What is this 0.1%? There are 2 trillion galaxies in that universe that we see. What is trillion? That is 2 followed by 12 zeros. That is the universe visible to science. We live in a galaxy called Milky Way. There are 10 billion stars in our home galaxy alone. That is 10 followed by 8 zeros. Each star has some planet. Our sun is one such star which has planets like our Earth. The 2 trillion galaxies make a total of 700 sextrillion planets. Planets almost similar to Earth. That is 700 followed by 21 zeros. Think how big is the universe. And you think there is no intelligence behind its design and creation? Earlier, when you saw those few lines on the beach, you instantly thought that there was someone behind it, some intelligence around it. But this we let pass unnoticed, isn't it? Have you head of the golden ratio or Fibonacci ratio. Fibonacci was an Italian mathematician who lived in the turn of 11th and 12th century. He brought the ancient Indian and Arabic numeral system to Europe and introduced the use of the number zero and the concept of decimal places. He brought out the concept of Fibonacci number, Fibonacci spiral, Fibonacci ratio or golden ratio it is known as. Let us not go into the mathematics part of Fibonacci number or ratio, which you can read about and learn from internet. There are plenty of them in the internet. The interesting thing here is that we can see the Fibonacci principle actively in Mother Nature. The number of petals in a flower, the number of seeds in a seed pod, the number of fingers on our hand, all will often be a Fibonacci number, which such as 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, which are numbers from the Fibonacci series. Not only that, everything in nature is also designed to the golden ratio or Fibonacci ratio of roughly 1.61 or 1.7. We can see that everything in nature is so consistently beautiful. Many designers today use Fibonacci ratio in their exquisite designs. All that we need to know from this example is that it is a purposeful, conscious universe that we live in. From the structure of an atom to the structure of the cosmos, we can see the presence of a great intelligent mind. It is the intelligence, it is an intelligent, live and palpable universe. The question is, are we aware of this? Are we aligned and attuned to it? Are we aware of the presence of this intelligence around us and within us when we go through the motions of our everyday life? Probably not. A spiritual life or a heartful life is its core is not about becoming a Buddha or doing meditation twice daily as a mechanical routine. It is all about living a conscious life with awareness and remaining open to all possibilities to the next level of human evolution. A conscious living is therefore that important to us. Now, let us take one more example. Benjamin Libet, who died in 2007, was a neurophysiologist who made far-reaching contributions to our understanding on how the human mind is thinking its thought. In 2004, he published his book, Mind Time, summarizing his research findings. Through experimental evidence, Benjamin Libet established that our brain activities start some 550 milliseconds before we initiate a physical action, triggered by a conscious decision. 1 second is 1000 milliseconds. Meaning, if I stop this talk and go to the kitchen to take a bar of chocolate, a readiness potential is first formed in my brain some 550 milliseconds before the actual time I stop this talk and start walking to the kitchen. Some 200 milliseconds before I start walking to the kitchen, my conscious mind decides to eat chocolate. Actually, 350 milliseconds before this decision is captured by my poor conscious mind as my thought, my brain had already decided and initiated the process of executing that decision. I, meaning my conscious mind, am not even aware of that decision is already taken on my behalf. We feel everything is happening instantaneously and remain under the illusion that we have decided and acted upon our decision. We are not. The book Mind Time has actually led to huge debates on whether we have a free will or not. If our thoughts are not our thoughts, and they are externally supplied to us, where is the question of free will? There are many interesting findings that follow, but for now, let us move on. I would personally encourage you to read the book Mind Time. Coming back to the example, where has the desire to have the chocolate originated from? From my free-willed conscious mind? No, according to the research findings. My thoughts bubbled up from somewhere unknown and got registered in my brain by evoking a readiness potential, detectable in EEG or fMRI way before my conscious mind became aware of my desire for a chocolate bar. It is only after 350 milliseconds later that my conscious mind captured the thought. Yet another 200 milliseconds later, my neurons started firing commands. My muscles started moving and I started walking to the kitchen. My conscious mind is under the mistaken notion that it took the decision to eat the chocolate, totally unaware of the drama staged behind all this. Why am I saying all this? I am saying this only to inform you that there is much more to our life than meets the eye. We need to wake up and lead a fully conscious life and reach our full potential, full spiritual potential. We are living in a purposeful, conscious universe. We have two purposes in our life. One, fulfilling our inner purpose, which is to expand our consciousness and to live a conscious, heartful life. Two, fulfilling our outer purpose, which is to lead a physically fulfilling life, which is what most of the people are engaged for most of their time. These two purposes are like the two wings of a bird. A bird needs two wings to fly. With one wing alone, it can't fly. We need to be as spiritual as we are physical. The first step is to recognize that we are living in a purposeful, conscious universe. The next step is to discover who we really are. All Indian sages have categorically said that we are not this body, we are not this mind, we are consciousness. Aham Brahmasmi and Prajnanam Brahma. I am Brahman, but Brahman is Prajnana. Therefore, I am Prajnana. I am consciousness. Not this body, not this mind. But is that our experience in our everyday life? No, not yet. We need to investigate to see whether it is true or not. Please do this investigation very sincerely and with an open mind. You will be amazed to see the results. I will conclude this by giving a hint to start thinking in that direction. When you are in sleep, when you are in deep sleep, you have no dreams, nor do you have any sense of time. You have absolutely no awareness of what is going around you when you are in deep sleep at that time. Even if a burglar breaks into your home, you would not know it. This means you are totally absent in your deep sleep state. Yet, the next day morning, when you get up, you will know that you slept well. How did you know that? Who reported you that you slept well or you did not sleep well? You are that faculty of consciousness which gave rise to the knowledge that you slept well. That is your spiritual heart. That is heartfulness. You are not your body. You are not your mind. You are consciousness, temporarily holding a body and mind for a certain length of time. You are not a body-mind organism holding a unit of consciousness inside. You are a unit of consciousness holding a body and mind outside. Welcome to Conscious Living. Namaskaram.